Welcome to the Gaming Trend Podcast, the official podcast of GamingTrend.com. My name is Anthony Shelton, and I am joined by David Burdett.
Hello there.
And Noah Rigsby.
Hello, everyone.
In this podcast, we talk about the latest games we could get our hands on. We talk about games that are backlog we should have played a long time ago, and games you absolutely need to play. We also squeeze in news, but we've had no games to... Well, we've had plenty of games to play,
Yep.
But... Summer Games Fest is here. So, that always trips me up. I keep naturally wanting to say Summer Games Fest, but it's actually Summer Game Fest.
Yep.
But it feels right to say Games Fest. Somebody should talk to Jeff about that. I can understand why he went with Game Fest. I get it, but I don't know. It rolls off the tongue better when you say Games Fest. Either way, it's over. David's back in his abode.
Oh, it is so nice to be home with, not running this podcast off of my phone.
It worked well last week, though.
It worked surprisingly better than I expected.
Yeah. It worked well. So we're back, and a lot happened. We had 3 showcases, 2 worth talking about. The Xbox Showcase / Starfield, and Ubisoft. We won't mention Capcom, because Capcom wasn't worth mentioning. So Capcom barely even showed up for their own conference, showcase, meeting, whatever the case may be.
Could have been an email.
So we'll skip. Yeah, that's the sentiment I heard. So we'll skip them. Besides, I feel like the stuff they announced just during the initial day was pretty much everything that we needed to know besides Dragon's Dogma. So Capcom is fine. So yeah, Summer Game Fest. Let's just start with the Xbox Showcase.
Yeah.
That happened. What are your initial thoughts about it? Let's start with you, David.
So this is, at least in my opinion, this is the best show that we saw between all the different shows that have gone on. This is all of them, not just this week's shows. This is all of them for this whole kind of time of year. And it's mainly because we've been begging, we've been pleading, we've been wanting things from Xbox. We've been hounding them over all of these different things that have gone on, and Redfall coming out and all it happened. Obviously, we still have to get the products. We still have to play them and they be in good order because, we were 2 months before Redfall and people were spouting it could be Game of the Year, and we all know how that turned out. That being said, I really enjoyed everything that I saw here. I thought they had a good pacing. I mean, if you didn't like something, just wait a couple of seconds. It's going to be gone and the next thing's going to be up. The only thing that I have to ding them on pretty hard is I was sitting in front of the speaker and my God, the world premiere, like 808, whatever sound in the background, and then it happening again with the play it day one on Game Pass. I actually had to leave the room in the middle of the Starfield Direct because I felt a migraine coming on. It was just like, the whole show was loud in general, but that extra was just, nah.
Yeah, man, you gotta stay out there in LA for a little while longer. You'll feel all kinds of bass as you travel the city. There you go. You get used to it.
Sounds.
Yeah, I grew up in that trunk rattling type of bass, so I feel like I would have been right at home.
Yep.
Noah, what do you think?
I completely agree with David. I thought they killed it. It was a very well done showcase. There was a lot of excitement and eagerness. Watching it, it felt kind of like how, years ago when, it's like, what are they going to announce? What's going to be revealed? It definitely felt like a look into the future of what they're doing. But like David said, they have to deliver. They've always had a pretty good track record of presenting. They just got to deliver, and I like that they didn't, do another. Hey, these are all coming in the next 12 months. They didn't set themselves up in a crunch.
That show would have been half as long had they done that.
Yeah. It really would have. But yeah, we got some release dates, which was nice. Some updates, some reveals. It had a little bit of everything.
Yep.
And it was a blast to watch. It really was an exciting time for Xbox. And I think Phil said in an interview afterwards that he feels like it's kind of a turning point for first party games on Xbox. And if this is, you know, the turn, I think we're in for a good time. I'm very excited.
I'll say this too. I had a it was kind of one of those sigh of reliefs. It's like,
Mhm.
thank goodness. I don't know that we could have taken
They-
another lackluster Xbox presentation. Like we needed this. They needed this.
They needed to show up, and I think they showed up.
Yep.
Like very kind of not worrying about like, you know, kind of Redfall and kind of the state that it's in. It's almost like they just completely ignored it and focused on the future, which is what I like to see. There was a lot of confidence and excitement within themselves. So yeah, excellent. And my favorite showcase by far through all of, you know, Summer Game Fest. So oh, trust me, I had to do the same thing, writing all of the news posts, like not typing in Games Fest, having to do just the singular game and having to backspace every time. Everyone was no. So
If you're writing up stuff on your phone, you're making sure the autocorrect finally recognizes summer and then game. No games, game. I thought it was, I'm with all of you in all of your sentiments. It was fantastic. I was shocked at how good it was from top to bottom. I felt the pacing was better than the initial Summer Game Fest showcase with Jeff Keighley. It was just something to look forward to the whole time. And yes, some of these games are going to be on multiple platforms, but Microsoft is also flexing the fact that, hey, we got the marketing deal here for this game and that game. And I saw a bright future with Xbox. And at first, I thought there were a lot of 2024 showing up at first. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is going to be the Xbox 2024 conference. And Starfield is just going to be the game, maybe with Forza. So, but after I wrote down all the games as they were happening and the release dates that were there, and the total for 2023 games was 8. And they were 2020 for the 24 games. It was 11 games. So it was actually pretty close in terms of games that had dates on them. There were some that had 0 dates. I think South of Midnight, Clockwork Revolution, like those are 2 games that just had no dates at all. Fable, yes. But for the 2023 games, 7 of those had solid dates. So 7 out of 8 of those had solid dates. So I was like, okay, like we still got 6 months left. That's at the very least 1 game a month. So that's pretty good. Now, yes, not all of them are going to be Xbox exclusive, but still, I think most of them were play it day one on Game Pass. So I thought that was impressive. And then 2024 seems to have a lot going for it. Not to mention, we're probably over the pandemic development kind of stuff. So I don't know how many times games are going to be delayed at this point. So
well, it really depends on development process more than anything, because the pandemic just exacerbated those issues.
Right. And so now that it's, you know, relatively over in that way, at least you're going back to normal development issues, right? So
and I think a lot of studios have adjusted to working remotely too. Like they're kind
agreed.
of, you know, they're getting used to it.
Yeah. So I thought it was a banger. I thought it was the banger. It was the best showcase by far. Blew PlayStation out the water. Ubisoft didn't hold a candle to it. Capcom, yeah, well, there you go. And the initial stuff with Mortal Kombat 1 and all that. This was just a very good show, but as both of you pointed out, they have to deliver at the end of the day. So Xbox is very good at setting expectations about what they want to do, but they've had a problem with delivery. So that's what we got to wait on. So if they don't deliver,
it's gonna be
Xbox
rough.
ain't leaving. Xbox
be
ain't leaving. It will be Phil Spencer who will be leaving. So I know a lot of people were talking about Phil Spencer's job after Redfall and whatnot. I think he's okay after this showcase. I think he's all right.
Oh yeah.
I think his job is secure at least until the end of 2024. So,
he's got the brand. I think the thing I said was he's got the brand away from the negative spin. Like that's the biggest thing. Even if not everything is positive, we're not just stuck in negative, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like that's the biggest thing. You didn't have to be like positive. You just had to get us out of the negative.
Yeah.
So.
And there's enough coming in 2023 to suggest there is a future now.
Yep.
And there is a future later. Even if that future is mostly Starfield and Forza,
yep.
Starfield alone can erase a lot of Xbox's poor PR.
And this was a lot of what we thought we were getting out of PlayStation Showcase, and that's why so many people were frustrated, like myself. Like it was a great showcase in terms of what was there, but we didn't find out what PlayStation proper was doing, and this is what we expected from PlayStation proper.
Well, I think
maybe not the sheer number of games, but at least more than just, hey, we got Spider-Man coming, and here 2 recent acquisitions. Here's some CGI trailers.
I'd make the argument that it was more a live service showcase, which is what PlayStation is working on. They have 12 games, coming within the next 4 years, which is absurd, but that is what they're working on. So is that interesting to people? Probably not. So it was disappointing.
Yeah.
Not to say, obviously we found out The Last of Us Factions multiplayer is going through issues.
Sony gonna take a screenshot of this week and send it to the CMA.
Right? And try something. But even still, like, I would say the strength of what we saw in the Xbox showcase, I'm like, I wasn't even thinking about Call of Duty. I was not even thinking about
they didn't even.
What if Diablo was part of Xbox right now?
They don't need. It was just this is what we've always said. It's focus on delivering what you have, because you keep spreading yourself thin. You're gonna not have great games come out with Redfall. It felt like they let themselves get spread thin. They let themselves be hands off, and that came out.
Yeah, and going back to focus on what they got. I probably I could be alone, but I think even if they didn't have like the Starfield Direct attached to the showcase, it still probably blows the other showcase out of the water for me.
Oh yeah,
like it was just like icing on the cake.
Oh yeah,
just that good of a show, man.
The Starfield trailer was nice though.
Oh yeah,
music, man.
I've got the so they do have the original theme. I believe it's a 10-minute song, and it is on like Spotify, Amazon Music, stuff like that. Just a heads up,
I need to.
Yeah, just a heads up. I went and searched for it and found it, and right now the Starfield the bars that's my notification right now.
This is just when Anthony drops out. He's just
see y'all. I mean,
all of a sudden you hear like Starfield music in the background of the podcast.
For anyone who thinks I'm just straight up all I ever do on this podcast is dump on Xbox, your boy went and ordered the $300 Starfield edition and the controller, which comes in tomorrow. So I want greatness from my Xbox. Give it to me, I'll eat.
It's funny you say that. I saw a lot of people who are not big on Xbox praising Xbox on this showcase. Oh, yeah. It was undeniably good.
Oh yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
How good it was. All right.
So now
Well,
talking
let's get
about
into-
it, right?
Yeah.
I was just making sure nobody else wanted to say anything else in response to that. All right,
Yep.
let's talk about the stuff they showed. Fable, they showed another, I guess, an engine gameplay game reveal of that. I thought it was a good trailer.
It was fun.
It showed the spirit of what this Fable is going to be, and I think it's on the right track.
Yep. I love Richard Iowati, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Like, he's hilarious. So love seeing him a part of the game.
It's really funny you bring that up, because I think it was about a week ago. A friend of mine introduced me to an old, I feel not
The
old,
IT crowd.
no. This is
Oh,
one
okay.
of his like earlier, I guess,
Ah.
ones. It's a British horror parody show called Dark Place. I had never heard of it, but it stars Richard. I not even going to try to pronounce. And so like,
I went to Google and got that pronunciation.
yeah. So like, I'm sitting there. We just watched the first season. It's fantastic. He's great in it. And then I show up to watch the Xbox showcase, and he just first thing is I'm just, oh hey.
I was sitting there. I'm like, I know this voice, and then he pops up like, I got you.
Such a good snack for them,
Yeah, he's his deadpan is perfect. Like it just adds to everything. But I like the humor. It's the humor that I expected, or that I wanted to see Fable continue with. This is gonna sound really funny. The only thing that kind of pushed me a little bit, like I'll still play it. I'll still play the heck out of it. Fable and Gears are the two games that like Xbox has had. That was the reason I had an Xbox back in the 360 days. I'm not as big of a fan of the more realistic look. Like, I wanted a little more cartoony look to it, if that makes sense, like the older games. And I know some of that was the times. Like, that's the reason it looked that way. And they're probably wanting to distance themselves a little bit with this reboot. So I get the reasoning. But it's kind of where a lot of people, and we'll get to Avowed, but I kind of almost wanted them to flip a little bit, if that makes sense. Like, Avowed be the thing that's a little more realistic, with Fable taking on the more colorful, which, not to say it wasn't colorful, but there was a lot of, if you watch some of those gameplay scenes, you're seeing a lot of the drab, dark areas and stuff, and I'm not as much on the Fable needs to be realistic. I want it to be as over the top as it can, and I feel like the more cartoony style fits. Once again, that said, I'm going to play the heck out of it. I love Fable. Fable's one of my favorite games. I am very interested, given they do have the character they do, and that's a whole nother... Twitter's being stupid about this main character, just like they are about almost anything. I'm intrigued as to if you will get to choose gender and do any sort of character creation like you were in previous Fables,
sure
or if this is a set protagonist. So
I'm pretty sure it's you create your own character.
Gotcha.
I could be wrong.
I mean, I just don't remember seeing that explicitly said. So
Neither do I. I don't think they've nailed anything down.
And obviously, there's no date. There's a lot that can change between now and then.
Yeah, I think the specific setting for the trailer, I don't think represented the, I guess, the fantasy feel that it was going for. I think this was meant to be a what's the tone of Fable. I think that's what this trailer was about, and I think it nailed the tone
for sure
of it. The drab feel, yeah, I think that the drabness, I think, was just a symptom of where they were, inside the house, and all the character and stuff. We know it's not just going to be that, so I feel like it could still get more colorful and fantastical and all that. I feel like I like Avowed. I like where Avowed is sitting right now in terms of its fantasy-ness, and I agree. I would like Fable to do that too. So I don't mind the realistic look, so long as it conveys, I guess, the cartoony, goofy feel that they're going for with the overall tone as well. So if they can match that up, even with, you could see sweat on the brow type of graphics. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Did you find?
Noah's
Did you find
looking.
anything else?
Yeah, I'm
I
looking.
know.
Sorry, Gamer. I was like, I think I found it. Gamer has an article about the Fable reboot could break new ground through character customization, and it's talking like either they're talking about how good it can be, if they choose to go this route, or they're
Yeah, that
talking
sounds
like
like a Game Rant article.
they're talking about like it's been talked about. So we'll see.
I'm pretty sure that's a skeptical, like, imagine if this Fable had character customization. I don't think it's been said.
Which I know that they weren't like you didn't have intense character customizations in the games from what I remember. Like it was more choose your gender and then just put on different your customization was clothes and the choices you made. Like cuz the big whole good versus evil, that was more your customization. But
I can see them leaning into broader customization just because
it's available now.
that's
Like
what we do.
It's easier to do now. So
yeah, as long as the rest of the game can hold up with it and memory and all that stuff. All right. After that, well, I don't even think it was right after
this
that.
This isn't in order, I don't believe. So.
Yeah, this is not in order. I was looking at my list. I was like, nope, that wasn't next. So we'll just go off of this IGN article. My list says South of Midnight, but we'll talk about Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. That was shown, and once again, with Xbox. And this time I think Xbox might benefit because I had zero interest in Cyberpunk 2077 when it first came out. I had even less interest after it launched. Now I'm interested. I didn't even really like it at first. I played about an hour and a half of it, and I fell in love with the world. I wanted to know more about some of the characters. I didn't like the way it felt gameplay-wise. But now that I'm hearing it's basically being overhauled from top to bottom, and all of that will be felt in Phantom Liberty, I'm willing to give it another shot.
I mean, looks good. I've already, got it checkmarked to pre-order. So I'm the Cyberpunk fan amongst the three of us. So I was just squealing when I saw the release date that it's September. So
I mean, it's exciting that they're again, you're getting that chance to redeem yourself, and like you said, them being able to use this as a bridge to overhaul some things that needed some overhaul that just did not work correctly. It's cool to be able to see that this is happening. That being said, if not all of this overhaul is available through a free patch and is a $35 patch, I do feel bad for people who don't get the opportunity to get it. So I don't think you should paywall your upgrade, so to speak. So hopefully a lot of that will be taken care of just straight up in whatever patch hits the game. And yeah, I rip PlayStation 4 and Xbox One Cyberpunk players. I mean, you already were having it rough. You don't get new expansion. You don't get overhaul. Buy a new system. That's all I can say.
We're encouraging now. As Microsoft said at the end of the showcase, we're going to have more Xboxes available. So Series X's specifically. So even they know Starfield's coming. Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. We need to have more Xboxes on the shelves. Let's make this happen. All right. Next on this IGN list was Avowed. I don't have a bunch of interest in this, so David, take it away on your thoughts.
Well, what's kind of funny is I don't even have like a ton of interest in it. Like I think the game looks cool. I thought the game was going to be a little bit more Elder Scrolls with the way that they pitched it, or at least the way that they showed it off when that very first
looks like Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, with that first trailer, it looked like they were aiming for more realism. And then this is not this. I watched it and I'm like, okay, this is following after Outer Worlds. Like the look and feel of it make me think Outer Worlds 100%. I hear that even it sounds like this is going to be a shorter game, not Elder Scrolls scale. And I think a lot of people were expecting when Avowed was first announced that this is going to be a humongous Elder Scrolls competition kind of style game. So it's interesting, this pivot. I'm curious as to if this was we were going after Elder Scrolls and then we realized how much time that was going to take, and they kind of changed their sights in the project and kind of downscaled, if that was something that happened, especially considering the art style does look different than what we saw in that original trailer. In any case, it's Obsidian. They always seem like they know what they're doing. So I would imagine that even if this is a smaller experience, that it's going to be a lot of fun to play. And I mean, in the end, Obsidian is, again, they know what they're doing, and I trust the people at that studio to build something good. Just stinks for people who made a assumption on the very first trailer.
I mean,
That's
kind
their
of
fault.
Yeah, I was like,
Yep.
assumptions.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of like, I heard that they're doing a RPG called Avowed, and I like Obsidian. I like everything they produce, and so if they decided to change, I trust they felt like that was the right.
At least there's a studio that's willing to do that.
Yeah,
and that has management in place. Obsidian's arguably the best managed team inside of Xbox right now.
And like with most Obsidian stuff, it's one of those, I usually just kind of wait until it gets really close before I start, heavily looking into it and like all the gameplay features, because it's like, I'm gonna probably like whatever game they produce, no matter what it is. So I haven't kept up with it too much, but after seeing the trailer, I'm on board. It looks fun.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it.
As you guys were talking, I was trying to figure out, why am I not interested in Avowed? And I think for me, it's the combat just looks.
You just hate somebody had a perfect analogy for it. Now I cannot remember what that analogy is. It was really funny as to what it is. Let me see. I have a friend. Keep talking. I'm gonna look this up, see if I can find it.
It's the same problem I had with Skyrim, and part of the reason why I've actually not played Skyrim yet, because I just have no interest.
Like bow kind of like,
it feels it looks like it's unnatural. It looks like it's clunky.
Yeah.
It looks like it doesn't have impact.
Here we
go. It
go.
doesn't look fun.
Somebody is this guy was talking about him and his buddy talking about Skyrim, and he referred to it as butter knife swinging. And I think that's a really good analogy for what you're thinking.
Yeah. So what's interesting too, when you have like the pencil trick, as a kid, and you like wobble the pencil, it is like, oh, it looks. That's what it looks like when they swing the sword. Like it does, like it looks like it kind of rubberizes a little. Like it doesn't, but it kind of looks like it has that like.
Yeah.
So it just looks weird, and it doesn't look fun. So I have no interest in engaging with a combat that I'm going to have to engage with that doesn't look fun in that way. So maybe if there's somebody out there who can convince me, no, it feels better than it looks, that I trust, okay, maybe. But
if not, play it on Game Pass.
Right, yeah, it might as well give it a shot. All right, what else? Oh, well, this isn't a game.
Just
but,
put it out there because I got something to say on this.
Okay, the Xbox is coming out with a $350 1 terabyte Xbox Series S coming September 1st, just in time for Starfield. Your thoughts?
Phil Spencer, he said it says in the article that he's responding to complaints that the S didn't have enough storage. And I thought he said essentially that he was like, I thought it was more the way he actually said it was like, you asked for it, we delivered. And the first thing that came to mind was, Who asked for it, Phil? None of us asked for a more expensive Series S that has more storage. We wanted cheaper storage to plug into the Series S, because here's the issue. Now you're only $50 cheaper than a PlayStation 5. Because I can go get a digital PlayStation 5 for $400 and have real next gen. The S is very good. It does what it does, but it is not real next gen. It can play real next gen, but it just, there's some stuff that it just can't do. So again,
How much more
you're
expensive is it over the original S, the 500?
it's only $50 more, but at the same point, $100, if I'm getting something for $100 less than a PlayStation 5, that makes sense. But when it's $50 less, that's suddenly that it's just that gap is really what it is you're lessening the gap of why I should buy something over a different thing, especially when the power is considered. I'm not getting an upgrade of power. That's the biggest thing for me there. Like,
Well, you are if you are stuck on the Xbox One.
that's about it. Not if you're stuck on the Xbox One X though, because that's pretty close. So
Yeah. How much does the One X have storage?
1 terabyte.
the One X is 1 terabyte.
Oh, it's one.
Yeah.
It's one also.
So-
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know.
It's mainly
feel
the thing
like-
of I just don't see the reason.
I don't know if it's positioned to necessarily compete with PlayStation 5 necessarily. I think it's more positioned as a bigger hard drive for those who want Xbox and more storage and it can't afford a Series X. Like I think it's just for people who want Xbox, not for people who are figuring out what console that they want.
It just feels like those people have already chose their Xbox though, if that makes sense. Like this just feels real late in the game for something that I don't know that moves the needle that much beyond, somebody who was waiting for Starfield.
And I think that is the point. Actually, I think there's a lot of people who are waiting on Starfield. Or Phil is predicting Starfield will create an influx of people who will want an Xbox. So this is cheaper than the Series X. So you're going to get Starfield at 30 frames per second anyway. So if you want a cheaper version with greater storage, boom, here it is. If you want the Series X, great. If you want it even cheaper, there's the 500 gigabyte option. So I think that's kind of how it's being positioned.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have no comment. Like David said, I don't feel like, the way he kind of talked it up, it's like, hey, we're gonna this thing you guys have all been asking for,
Yeah,
are you ready? And it's like, okay, like that's cool. But like I don't think that was like number 2 or number 1 on our list of, feedback.
Well, yeah, we want games.
Well, I was expecting it just to be a cheaper like storage like drive.
Yeah, like
That's actually what I
That is-
expected.
the cards.
That's still, what, 250?
They're a lot cheaper now because one other company has jumped in on it, but it's like I can upgrade. I think a terabyte is still over $100, whereas you can go upgrade your
115-ish.
PlayStation 5 for like $50 to $60 now. So it's still a huge disparity.
Yeah, the cheapest I've
Yeah,
seen
because
those
Xbox is
cards-
proprietary.
Yes.
Yeah, the cheapest I've
Yeah.
seen those cards if you get like a like a retailer's like deal of the day kind of thing where it's like $90. That's the cheapest that I've seen them because they are
Yep.
Yeah, in that way, yes, I agree with David. It would have been nicer to have a cheaper proprietary storage announcement. That would have been great.
Oh,
Maybe
it's
to have
also
both.
you've been complaining about the Series S not having enough space. Here's a new console you can buy. Like, if you're the one complaining, you don't want to buy a new console.
Yeah, no.
At that point, it's like, screw you, I'm buying an S. Or I'm buying an X.
I get the argument there.
Yep.
That would have been nice to have the storage announcement instead.
Yep.
But maybe,
Oh, well.
I don't know. I don't know the business strategy behind that. I haven't really looked into
for
that.
the group out there that are that wrote in, emailed Phil, hey, this is what we want. I'm glad, I'm glad you guys got an update on that. So,
Phil, I really need 488 more gigs, man. It's killing me.
well, which, we all know it's not a full, 1 terabyte anyways.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
I know
yeah.
it never
props to
is.
them.
Nope.
All right, well, I'll skip the Starfield because they had a whole 45 minutes.
So I have to say that was one of the oddest placements for a trailer.
Really?
Like, to me, it was just the, hey, you're going to see more of us later. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that comes later. Like, I that would make more sense as the intro to the direct or as the ending of the direct, like the to the Starfield section, this trailer. Like, to me, you didn't need a, hey, stick around. It's literally marketed as the Xbox show and Xbox Direct. And Starfield Direct. So to me, it was more oddly placed.
Well, it felt like, to me, I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen. I don't know. I just probably had some bad luck, but I've had it a couple of times. Have you ever been in a movie theater where you're sitting through the 30 minutes of trailers that you don't want to sit through, and the trailer for the movie you're going to see gets somehow looped in there?
That's a really good explanation.
Like, and you're just like, but I'm here. You've done your job.
Fam, we were here for this.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fair if I guess the trailers were as long as the movie. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's because this is a common thing that does happen in radio and TV where, it's like, hey, this is all we're doing. And you have like periodic like reminders like, hey, stick around because this thing is it's coming. Don't worry.
It's just the fact that this was marketed as the Starfield Direct. Like, that's the big, it's like, we don't need a reminder. We're here.
Well, we got a good trailer out of it, so I'm fine with it.
Yep.
Next was, well, not next, but another reveal was South of Midnight by Compulsion Games. I feel like I haven't heard anything from them in a while.
Oh yeah, it's been forever.
This is a interesting looking game. I'm not sure if that will be the graphical style in the end. If it is, cool. Yep. But even like it's almost stop motion-y in the way it is. If it plays like that, that'll be really fascinating. But this is it's an interesting world, interesting characters. I want to know more. This was a reveal trailer. Yeah. I want to know more.
Yeah, definitely intriguing.
And this is so I got to go back to something that Xbox Aaron Greenberg was talking about before all of this stuff, how they kept saying we don't have any CGI trailers. This is all in-game or in-engine. And I get it. In-engine footage, like, we're getting to that point where in-engine looks as good as CGI. So I get that. However, I don't think people are as upset when we're talking about the reveals. I don't think it's always just we just don't want CGI. It's that they want to see the game. Like, it's not, that's not the problem. And like, I'm super looking forward to seeing what South of Midnight is. Like, I thought Compulsion, I really liked We Happy Few. They're a developer I've been waiting to see what they have. But to me, this is almost the same thing as a CGI trailer. Like, it is the same thing. Yeah. So it's like, you're very cleverly saying in-engine footage because games look so good now that you can build CGI trailers in-engine. So it's like, you're stretching the truth a little bit there, Aaron. You're stretching the truth a little bit there. Keep giving me good stuff like this, but just know if something sucks or if we go through a showcase where we don't get some really good gameplay and stuff, then people are going to start getting mad over in-engine trailers. So
This
it's just
this
that.
has been my knock on Aaron Greenberg
Yeah.
for a while. He does a lot of stretching.
He's a hype man.
He is a hype man, and he will stretch to get that hype as far as he can stretch. That rubber band is really close to breaking with him sometimes, and I wish he would tone it down.
Yeah.
That is one of my knocks on Aaron Greenberg. I think he does a good job creating hype. Obviously, we had this showcase and it did a great job, but yes, there were some trailers that said in-engine and CGI, right? So it was just like, okay, like,
well, it didn't say CGI, it's
really,
cinematic.
It's cinematic, yeah, but we know what that means. So you're absolutely right. When we talk about we don't want CGI, we're talking about we don't want what we saw with South of Midnight. But it's a reveal trailer.
That looks really good, though. Fine. It's give us good things, we won't complain. Give us stuff like, obviously, the huge Starfield reveal with all that stuff. We just don't want the constant. The issue is not CG. It's just we want a feel for what the game actually is. And as much as I love what the look of South of Midnight is, I have no idea how this game plays. Like,
and it's a reveal trailer. Like it's not supposed to give you that kind of detail, and I'm fine with that. It's a problem to build on your point, because I agree with it. It's a problem when you're constantly showing reveal trailers.
No.
It's like, okay, we get it. This is a game. These are the different tones. Great. Like, it'd be one thing if the next Fable trailer is something like this Fable trailer. Okay, we get it.
Which
Fable,
we're going to get into something with Hellblade. That's coming.
So it's like, okay, now we want to see what Fable is. At least give us a taste of what you're going for. So I completely agree. All right. Star Wars Outlaws was revealed at Xbox. They didn't even wait for Ubisoft. Didn't even wait for their showcase. They decided to go with a 10-minute reveal. We'll get to that later, but we got to see it for the first time. This is the studio Massive is the studio that's working on this. And
one's
instead
behind
of the Division.
Yep.
Which I really like the Division. This is what they've been working on, and I like it. I like it. I like it.
Yep. After you're playing Survivor is getting your taste, you want more.
Like Anthony, this long he's been on the fence ever since the showcase. He's been going back and forth. He's finally made his decisive,
I like where it's going. Yeah, Survivor. Yeah, that's a very good game. Very good game. But I honestly wasn't even thinking about Survivor. I was thinking about, okay, what is Massive making? Like, that's the direction I was coming from. I'm like, Respawn, they are on a different level as a developer. They are a well-oiled machine. Massive, they are good at improving things over time, which is evident by the Division. So, I am curious to know what they do with a game where it is launch and let go.
Yep.
They got to get it right on the first try, like a Star Wars Survivor. Yep. I like the tone. I like the concept of kind of Star Wars, but what is it really like to be this mercenary outlaw kind of character that we don't know. So I think there's a lot of room to expand on Star Wars as a universe with a new character, and let alone get introduced to a new character.
It's Star Wars. I'm excited. So yeah, well, like you said, expand on the universe. There's so many different, it's like an onion. There's so many layers to the Star Wars universe and so many different aspects that, kind of get overshadowed because Jedi, Sith, so the fact we're getting kind of like you said, this mercenary kind of character, it's sold me. And I like, like I said, I love the Division. And I think they were able to take a lot of things they learned, hopefully, you know, get it right the first time, because this is a boxed, set product. So yeah, it looks really good though. It looks really good. I'm excited.
All right, next up on this list, Forza Motorsport. It's coming October 10th, and I felt like it just dropped. It was like they showed it, and then it was like October. Oh, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, October 10th. Yeah,
It was
they
very
didn't reveal
quick.
the date yet.
Yep.
It was like,
Forza.
oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so that felt weird almost, because it was a cool trailer, but it also felt like this is something on the side.
Yeah, it was almost overlooked. Like, oh, we got to put out Forza. Crap, here.
Yeah, there's a release date, guys. Yeah, October 10th. Okay, hope you're happy. So I don't know if they're gonna do something special for Forza, not quite Starfield level, but maybe something else later where it's probably 20 minutes of like, this is Forza, top to bottom.
Yep.
This is what we're looking to put out. But
maybe Gamescom.
Yeah, that's in August, huh? Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
That'd be a good spot.
I think that would be good.
It's end of August, so you really aren't going to be talking about, like, you'll talk about Starfield, but that'll be like a launch trailer.
Yeah. So yeah, get one more look at Forza before Starfield comes out.
Yep.
And everybody's talking about Starfield for the next 6 years, and then Forza launches in October. All the Forza fans enjoy that. Yeah, that sounds like a good time for that. We'll see if that happens. Because that felt oddly overlooked. Next on the list is In Exile's Clockwork Revolution.
I'm
super
excited for this. Like,
yeah, go for it.
It looks like I'm a humongous fan of BioShock, especially BioShock Infinite, and this. So there's apparently some comparison. There's apparently some comparisons going around, and straight up spots in this trailer are ripped from BioShock Infinite, the reveal trailer for it. So I'm wondering who was in the room and got away with some of that with designing this trailer. But again, just this whole style looks like BioShock. It sounds like it's got a little more RPG mechanics to it with some of the things that they're doing, given it's in Exile. So I'm just very excited. It's a first-person shooter with steampunk. I'm in. Like, the setting looks fantastic.
I'm gonna be honest. When they showed it off, I thought it was like, are they doing like a spin-off of BioShock Infinite? Because like I remember playing, like there was like some kind of like revolution thingy, and so, but like, I mean, if you're getting compared to that, as long as you don't, if you could take inspiration and not just straight, copy paste, I think that's a pretty good thing to be compared to. It's just a big name to live up to. If you're going in that kind of direction. But like David said, the RPG, the addition of like the time manipulation, that whole component, I think if it, depending on how heavily it is integrated, will do enough to set it apart from being a Infinite clone kind of thing.
I think it has a lot of callback to Infinite. Obviously, David talked about literal copy paste moments. I think it'll remind you of BioShock Infinite. I don't think it'll be anything like it.
No.
That's the vibe I'm getting. I think Atomic Heart will be closer to what BioShock felt like than this game. I think it'll just look and remind you of Infinite, but this looks like it's going to be something completely different and very ambitious. I like swinging for the fences. I hope they can deliver.
Kind of their chance to really their kind of their coming out party, so to speak.
Yeah. The next on the list is Metaphor Refantasio from the creators of Persona. Noah, what are your thoughts? I'm going straight to you.
I was sold the moment
He's
they
the
said
one.
creators of Persona. So yeah, and this one looks to be like full blown RPG, like their first like kind of endeavor into that genre, and not doing like social sim, elements. They could, but just from the way they presented it, you don't really, you know, like I think most Persona fans will agree, as long as you just say, "Hey, the creators of Persona are doing this new thing," we're gonna be like, "Okay, we'll give it a shot." Like, we'll go in. It could be bad, probably won't be bad, um, but it gets gets me looking forward to you know next year. So yeah, overall, I mean, Persona fans, I think, like myself, were eating well during this showcase.
I've never played Persona. I want to play Persona. It's just long. So long games I tend to struggle to play. But
Hmm.
I'm interested in this. But that's all I am right now. I really don't have much reason outside of, I know it comes from the creators of Persona. A lot of people respect Persona. I want to play Persona. So there's something about that that draws me in. So this, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
willing to give it a shot.
just book it. The next time you have about 150 hours to kill, just pencil in Persona. Like,
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Yeah. Now this game was interesting. 33 Immortals by the studio that made Spiritfarer, Thunder Lotus. The thing that got me, and I'm sure it got everybody else, was the fact that it is a game that supports up to 33 players at one time. It looks like a top-down, I don't know, it's an action game, I guess. I was like, let's go. Like, how does this game work? It's like a mini MMO, like
Yeah.
all dungeon crawling MMO all the time. Like, why hasn't anybody made this sooner? The concept of let's run Destiny dungeons, that's the game. Like, literally just call it that. Let's run Destiny dungeons.
Which terrifies me, because as a, I will say at this point, former Destiny player, trying to get two teammates to coordinate passing one sphere back and forth for a mechanic, trying to get 32 other people to coordinate, terrifies me. It's
That's probably the thing, though. There's probably not going to be much coordination involved for
I'm
that
just hoping
reason.
the ping
I
is
hope
gonna be
not.
decent.
Oh, it's a smaller game. It's
I hope that
it doesn't.
we can find 32 other people then.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if it's going to be one of these games where it's just all matchmaking all the time. Like, you could probably party up with a few people,
I wonder if
but
they're going to do bots at all,
Yeah,
or
that's
if
what I
it's
was
going to be,
thinking. They'll just have,
or if
like,
it's going to
AI.
be
That-
a scale thing where it's essentially the more people, the harder. Like, it depends. You either have bots, or it's going to be a scale based on number of real players.
that's probably what it is.
That's my guess.
Yeah,
Because it
bots.
looked like there were several moments where you didn't have that many people on the screen.
And you could also be in different areas too. Like, you might have 33 people like doing, a raid or whatever, but you're being,
separate things.
yeah, like separate areas,
Maybe.
Because
Oh yeah, that would be. Yeah,
having that many, I'm sure technically that would be pretty tricky to pull off. But yeah, it looks fun.
that would be interesting. Yeah, there was a game that played around with that concept of people doing separate things, and then at the conclusion, like once they've gotten past all their zones, they converge on to the final zone, and it was a multiplayer game. And so they all fought over whatever the thing was. I forget what game it was, but yeah, I like that idea of, maybe you start with like 7 people and y'all are just doing stuff and then at the end, all 33 of you come together for this final thing, whatever it is. Either way, I like co-op games. Any game that allows me to play with other people in a cooperative manner, I'm interested. So once they said 33, I was like, okay, let's see how this will go.
Was that a typo? Did they only mean to put 3?
Right.
Speaking of 3, Payday 3.
Okay, Dave's trying to move us on.
Okay.
All right. You had no interest in that game?
Shush.
No, that's not
Yeah.
my
single player guy.
honestly, what's
who
funny
hates
is
Xbox.
Yeah.
well, what's funny is I really don't have a lot of interest. Payday 3 looked like more Payday, which is good.
Yeah. I liked Payday 2. I'm not mad at more Payday 2 and Payday 3. I didn't really see anything different from Payday 2. Like, sometimes you get a trailer and it's like, ooh, that's the difference right there from Payday. Not really much of that.
I feel like it looks like there might be some more, if it makes sense, openness to the levels. Like there's more traversal that's actually needed.
I would agree.
As well as there's some tools that you saw that definitely look like they were newer, like the turret and everything.
Yeah.
So
in terms of overall, I mean, it is just Payday.
Broaden the scale. We'll all be happy with Payday.
Yeah. Persona 3 Reload officially revealed, even though it was kind of revealed beforehand, I believe.
Got leaked by Atlas themselves. That intern's like totally fired.
Yeah. And then also Persona 5 Tactica, which is a tactics-based Persona game. Yes, that is the tactics-based one. So it's a turn-based tactics like Fire Emblem. I will play that for sure. That will probably get me to play Persona 5 Golden even faster. Just because it's a good introduction for me into Persona 5.
Like, the feels hit me on this because I haven't gotten to play. I was going to play Persona 3 whenever they did the whole bring it up to, newer gen. But then once I heard that they were remaking it, quote unquote, using the Persona 5 engine, I was like, okay, I'll just wait on that. When I saw it, I was really excited. And then when I'm not sure if it was the game director or if it was just a dev in an interview saying that none of the like extra additions that came with, there was a there's like Persona 3, like PES was the code name for it, like the addition of like the female pro tag, a bunch of other quality of life improvements aren't going to be in this. It's just the vanilla version of it. That kind of made me a little bit less excited. Still excited, but we all know how well improved the game of the year versions or like the next step versions of Persona games are. So that made me a little bit, not as excited for it. But the Persona 5 Tactica game, I wanted to jump out of my seat because after Persona 5 Strikers, with how Atlas does their games, I didn't think we were going to get another adventure with this cast of characters. And they're such good characters and so, close to all of us who have played and enjoyed it that just I'm happy we're getting another adventure. It could have been, a point and click chibi or a 8-bit game, but as long as we were getting the characters, I was going to be ecstatic. So this was far and above my favorite thing that came out of the show.
I think this was a good way to do it. Make it a turn-based strategy game because you still get to go in depth without having to create super deep RPG mechanics and a super long game as they would do with, whatever, Persona 5 2. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Sea of Thieves gets a Monkey Island crossover.
That was not on my bingo board.
No.
Apparently,
it's a great idea, though.
Apparently, what's funny is it wasn't on Ron Gilbert's bingo board either because he had no idea that they were doing this. The one who created Monkey Island.
That's funny. I think it's a great idea, though.
Yeah, it's a, you don't think about it until, like, oh yeah, that'd be a great collab or a crossover. So
they showed Flight Simulator 2024 when they, I'll say this, when they started showing all the different things, firefighters and rescue operation type of stuff. I was like, oh, they're giving an update to Flight Simulator. And I was like, oh no, it's the next one. I was like, that's actually a really cool way to keep people invested in playing Flight Simulator who just don't want to just fly around from destination to destination. Give them objectives. Give them something specific to do. I think that's a cool idea. I don't know how they're going to execute it, but I appreciate the concept in here. All right, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is coming next year. David, it sounded like you had something to say about that.
It is raring to go.
Well, we just had that discussion about CG trailers and how, we get to the next portion of another showcase and stuff like that. And then we're like, oh yeah, we're going to get a little more frustrated when it's another CG trailer. Well, we keep getting CG trailers from Hellblade, and I'm kind of curious as to the idea behind, like, what's going on in development. Are they having some issues? Like, I know I know it's not a CG trailer, but it's still an in-game, in-engine cutscene, essentially. So, I mean, this game got revealed when the Xbox itself got revealed, like the Series X. So, it's just that whole thing of, a lot of people were thinking this is going to close out the year. You're going to have Starfield in September. You're going to have this in like November or something. Like, with you putting a very broad 2024, it does leave you wondering what's going on behind the scenes with Hellblade. Not that I think the game is probably still going to be good, but I mean, they're not showing like the new combat. Everything we've seen so far has not really shown us a lot of what this game is doing in a new fashion. Like the one thing of gameplay did not really show a lot of what you were doing beyond running around. So just very intrigued as to what is happening behind the scenes, especially considering this is a very good studio and one that, we want to see more from. So just, it gets to a point you're like, okay, we've seen the tech. We know it's pretty. We want to see the rest.
Agreed.
And that's the only reason I'm disappointed. I think I'll play the game. I think the game's going to be good. It's just we want more.
Yeah. We want gameplay.
At least when I saw Deathloop 500 times, it was gameplay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be good because we haven't seen any gameplay yet. So
yeah.
My verdict, I'm still holding on.
Yeah, but the next one that we've got up is going to be good.
I hope it is.
I was thinking of you when I saw this trailer, not because dude was naked, just because you like the game.
Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, which I possess
Appreciate
in
the
all
David.
kinds of ways. Again, a reveal trailer. So, I mean, this is the absurdity of, Like a Dragon
absurd.
and freaking Ichiban. I love it. So, I think we're all Ichiban fans here. So
it's happening in Hawaii too. They're bringing it to the U.S. That's interesting.
That's gonna be. So that's the premise of the trailer. He's a fish out of water. So. Yep. Oh man! Oh, I didn't realize it was set in Hawaii. Oh, yep. That is great. That whole trailer was a metaphor. Then I love it.
Yep.
Fallout 76 Atlantic City expansion, cool. Path of the Goddess. Oh, you had something to say about that?
I was just gonna say, for people who like 76, there you go.
There you go. Capcom, we could talk about them. Reveals Path of the Goddess. It's an action-focused game with horror themes. According to the IGN article, that's the way they describe it. I would say it's also very colorful. I couldn't.
It is weird
It's an
looking.
Yeah.
It.
Um.
I don't know if you guys. I'm probably the only person who's seen more than 5 anime on this cast.
I have
but there's
definitely seen more than
okay,
5
There's
anime.
a new anime it's released currently ongoing. The manga has been out for a while, called Hell's Paradise.
Okay.
And the premise of it is they get to this island that is all flowery, lots of bright colors, but it's when you get it, you look a little bit closer, it's very like horror themed, and it just reminded me of that. So for anybody who is watching, listening, that has seen the show Hell's Paradise, very big vibes from it. So, and it's a good show, so should be a good game. Hopefully we'll see.
The trailer didn't give me the vibe that the horror was kind of something you needed to dig deeper into. It seemed like it was just there, like it was just part of it.
Made me think of Neo.
Almost. Yeah. Almost like they were meshed together, like it's all there, but they were fused.
Oh yeah,
this color horror
that's
thing.
more so, because like on the show, it's like they get to this island, that from when they're pulling up to the shore, it looks very colorful, very pretty, and then once they actually get into the island, they start realizing everything is, like you said, almost fused. So it's kind of like when you get into the island and stuff. But yeah, very great design though. I think it's a really cool aesthetic.
It does, yeah.
Like it's unique. The blending.
Mm-hmm. So. But I don't get it. I will say that. This feels like Kojima-esque. It's like, okay, I need to see more of this. I don't know where this is going. And then another game, Towerborn, by the creators of Banner Saga. I'm interested. I like Banner Saga.
It's like hopefully I like this.
That's a you do you fam kind of thing. I'm not really interested in the game, but it has a really pretty aesthetic.
It does, yes. Still Wakes the Deep. I don't even remember this. It's another game that they showed. I don't even remember what this game was.
I got scared, so I closed my eyes and just let it play through.
Oh, it's that game. That's right. Yeah, you get on an oil rig and there's horror stuff happening. This was by the Chinese Room, I think.
Oh yeah. Those are the ones behind Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, right?
I think so. I mean, Secret Mode and the Chinese Room, like those are the publisher and developer or developer duo working on it. Oh gosh, I need to put in Chinese Room developer.
Yeah, so
what do they work on?
That's from me.
The British game developer, of course. I didn't even realize they were British. Yes, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
Cool. I actually guessed right then.
They also did Little Orpheus.
That game has a lot of. I like the realistic environments, and it looks like they're continuing that with Still Wakes the Deep. So I'm sure it'll look pretty cool.
It looks like it's going to be an effective horror game. That's for sure. Yep. I'm not playing that.
It's a day one Game Pass, so
I'm not playing it.
Yep.
It'll stay on Game Pass. It will not get on my console.
Not on my console. Not on my server in the cloud. Nope. Dungeons of Hinterberg. Dungeons of Hinterberg was another one. This
a lot of stuff going on, pretty much. That's the easiest way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another art style that you love. Yeah.
Yeah. Very colorful. Cell shady. With the dark. I will say I feel like the black outlines are a little too thick. Like it felt very busy think they need to tone down the comic book feel, at least with like the outlines, the little inky outlines. A little too much there. But other than that, I think it looks interesting.
Yep.
Combat is fast paced. I will say that. I like that. Okay, Elder Scrolls Online, Necrom, Shadow over Morrowind. For those
Kind of like the
Elder
76
Scrolls
announcement. It's like,
Yeah,
cool.
those-
If you love Elder Scrolls Online, it's for you.
They've already
Oh,
got
there
it
you go.
pre-ordered. They didn't need another trailer.
Yep. City Skylines 2 is coming to Game Pass.
Those are always nice, chill games.
I love City Skylines. I was so excited to learn that it was coming to Game Pass. So I'm like, this is why I subscribe to Game Pass right here. Forget Starfield. Give me no. This just adds to the joy of subscribing to Game Pass, because this is a game I do want to play day one. So you get Forza October 10th, City Skylines October 24th, and Starfield all interspersed in that.
I hate October.
You know, yeah, I get you. And then Jusant. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Jusant. How did they pronounce it?
I do not
when
remember.
you're there?
I don't think they actually did.
Okay.
I think it just popped up on there and we had to guess.
This is by Don't Nod. I like Don't Nod, so I'm going to be interested in this. But definitely a lot of climbing. I don't really know how else to describe this. It's just,
There's not a lot.
Yeah,
It's
you're a rock climber.
it's colorful and yeah.
There's a story. It's Don't Nod,
it's
that's
probably,
for sure.
Probably gonna be an incredible story, but
Yeah,
get ready to climb.
get ready. So that was it. I'm looking at my list to see if there was anything that was missed, but I'm
Didn't see anything
pretty
else.
sure. I think that was it.
Starfield
Yep.
though.
Starfield, though. Okay, let's talk about that. Starfield had the direct right after the Xbox Showcase. Immediate thoughts, Noah.
The more I see of Starfield, the more that it can't be bad, right? Like it just looks so like there's no way it can be bad. Like, and the scale and just everything that they're putting into this game, it's hard for me to like wrap my head around that this is going to all be in a video game and it not be 400 gigs in size. It just looks beautiful. I feel like we got a little bit more look into the combat, the most detailed combat that we've seen from it. So I've been sold on this game for a while. I am just patiently waiting. Like I didn't need to see more, but I'm glad we got to, and even with them having like what 2 directs now, I still feel like we probably haven't even scratched the surface on everything that's going to be in this game. So yeah, Xbox is looking really good. So, and David liked it enough, he got the collector's edition. So
That
Nice.
watch.
Yeah.
I watched. It got me. I was like, I think I'm going to buy this. I'm gonna figure it
Yep.
out. Go ahead, David.
You got my links, didn't you?
I did. Yes.
So, based sheerly off what we saw, because obviously there can be issues, there could be different things in the world, all that kind of stuff. Based sheerly off what we saw, it is incredible to me that just this year, the amount of like genre defining games that could be hitting in the exact same year. Like, I'm not going to say this is going to have the exact same impact as Tears of the Kingdom, but there's a good chance that it could for that genre. I mean, Skyrim was a genre defining game for what it did. And they've been working hard on Starfield. They've been delaying Starfield. The thing is I'm seeing improvements in the spots that really needed improvement. 30 frames per second aside, which you got to deal with certain things to get the most immersive world you can possibly get. The gunplay in that game looks so much better than what we had seen in the preview. Like, it's 10 times better. Like, that was such a huge deal to me of, this doesn't look fun. In the, I believe it was it may have been 2021, 2022. I can't remember which time they actually showed it off, but it was like this, I'm just not sure. And then we saw the combat. I'm like, this is really good. Like, you brought apparently id came in, ID, however you want to call them. I believe they came in and actually helped with some of this different stuff. And it shows that they had different teams helping them to fix something that was an actual, like, detractor from this game. None of that gunplay did I watch and think, oh, this is like Fallout. No, this gunplay feels good. It feels crisp. It feels like I want it to feel. I love the aesthetic, the whole thing that they're going for with the whole NASA idea of, this is kind of how space looks, with all the different ways things are doing. The companion system, I still need to go back and rewatch. I feel like I missed so much on the different things you can do in this world. The adoring fan thing was hilarious. As someone who played a lot of Oblivion and whatnot, like, all that was just really, really funny. And it's pure Bethesda madness in the way that only Bethesda makes video games. So I'm happy and excited for that. Again, we could run into a bunch of different problems once we get there. We could have cyberpunk bugs and be mad. But I feel like we're in that spot where what I'm seeing shows me that we could just as well have Skyrim bugs where it's funny and I can get away with that, because one of the biggest issues with Skyrim was the game, or with not Skyrim, but Cyberpunk, was the game itself was not crafted completely correctly. That's why we're getting this overhaul with Phantom Liberty. I don't feel like I see that in what they're doing with Starfield. This feels like they're building on that foundation they've already got. Yes, guarantee you creation is going to show cracks. It has been showing cracks for a long time. They're patching it as best they can. But as a game, Starfield has a chance to be one of the biggest RPGs we've ever seen, and even redefine what we look at when it comes to Western RPGs. I'm excited.
I am not a big Western RPG fan. Hence, I have not played Skyrim yet. But I look at Starfield, I looked at everything they showed, and I thought I was interested in Starfield. It's set in space. I think that's going to have a broader reach by itself than more Nordic type of stuff that you'll get from Elder Scrolls. But holy crap. This game looks really good. And I would consider myself a person that's pretty hard to please, especially when it comes to these kind of things. I am looking for stuff. I'm looking for the cracks. It's really hard to find the cracks in this.
When they say it's the most polished game they've made, I tend to believe them when I look at it.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was just about to say, Todd Howard is not backing down on his lofty claims about Starfield. Like, this would be the time, you know it's coming, you know you need to set expectations correctly, because this is a full reveal of what this thing is and what it's going to do. And Todd Howard has not backed down from not one thing he has mentioned before this direct. In fact, he has doubled down on those things. Yep. And is now, as David pointed out, saying that this is the most polished Bethesda game they've ever made. Mind you, it's also probably the biggest Bethesda game they've ever made. So either Todd Howard's going to eat a whole bunch of crow and have to live with internet outrage when this comes out, or he's telling the truth. Right? Like it is either or with this.
Yep.
And I do think there's going to be bugs, but as long as they're not
Guaranteed.
game breaking,
Yep.
as long as they're not quest breaking, as long as you don't lose your data, you don't lose your ship, you don't have any of those kind of issues, you don't lose your file save. If it's none of that, this is gonna be a huge success. Not only for Bethesda and Todd Howard, but for Xbox, obviously. Now, this game just looks so freaking good. This is the most excited I've ever been for a Western RPG, ever. I've passed up a lot of them because I'm just not interested in the style of Western RPG. I prefer JRPG personally. But this, yeah. Oh, sucking me in like a black hole.
I see what you did there.
I didn't point out the joke, so it's fine. All right. So, I mean, there's just way too much to individually point out in Starfield. Yeah. So we'll leave it at that. Like our feelings about it.
It good. Like,
yeah.
Like, that's all you need to know.
All right. Let's move on to the Ubisoft Forward Showcase. And again, I'll use an IGN article to go through everything. So it is not in order. They showed Avatar first, I believe.
Yes.
But first on this list is the Star Wars Outlaw 10-minute gameplay, which I'm really glad they showed that. To me, I always like it when developers put out gameplay because it shows confidence. Yep. And I know this is
you see their vision.
This is a visionary type of trailer, which I know a lot of people don't understand. So, they'll look at it and go like, oh my God, this gameplay looks just so bad and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, they're just casting a vision for what this will look like. Similar actually to what Starfield had done. And we see what it looks like now. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. So there's plenty of room for improvement, but,
for a first showing, this looks killer.
I don't know if I'm there at killer, but I am. I want to play this. I guess I know this is a Ubisoft massive game, and I know that means The Division. And so when the combat started happening and all that, I was like, oh, this looks way too much like The Division. That is not what I expected for a Star Wars game. I expected some adjustment there in terms of shooting and the mechanics and whatnot. That felt less like The Division and more like Star Wars. I get why they do it, but it's a little disappointing to me because it's going to remind me of The Division. I could literally look at the animations and point out which characters in The Division do that. Right? So it was like, does it look good? Yes. But it falls into the Ubisoft issue of they iterate on different things instead of uniquely create. It takes them a while to get to that unique creative thing. We got it with Assassin's Creed when it came out, Prince of Persia originally, Rainbow Six. Those are kind of like, those are true Ubisoft originals. Avatar, we'll talk about, that feels extremely iterative on their overall formula. I could point out all the different, it's like, yeah, that Ubisoft game does that. That's an iteration.
It's Blue People Far Cry.
Yes. So that is kind of what I felt a little bit with this. So that was disappointing. I like Ubisoft's little open world formula. So it's not like I'm mad. I'm just disappointed. It doesn't feel more different for a Star Wars game. I feel like Star Wars has it's such a unique imprint that you got to meet that, and they're not. But it's still like Ubisoft and what I like from them. So I'm fine. I'm just not blown away.
I like how you can use your little creature Nyx, and he can go pick stuff up and all that kind of stuff. Like, that was really cool.
It's cute. Yeah.
Very, very well created character. I'm also interested to see how far dialogue goes, considering you can choose in the trailer whether or not to bribe the Imperial. Like, how far does that go? Does it bring up a different option if you were to have bribed her, or you still wanted? You know, how are they presenting all of this different stuff, as well as just some of the other different things with customization and whatnot? You wonder what they're going to put in there. But it does sound like they've got quite a few planets that you're going to be able to go to, explore. And I like the idea of the reputation system with, it showed on the screen that you actually lowered your reputation with the pikes because you stole stuff from them. I'm also interested on if you can do it sneakily enough if you don't lose any reputation, if you manage to get out without alerting anybody. Just, there's these little things that I'm very interested to see how that works overall. But like you said, there's some stuff that Ubisoft does really well, and I'm not mad that it's in a Star Wars game.
Yep. David pretty much hit all the points. It looks good. Looks fun. I like the speeder segment, and the open world looks fun. I'm curious to see like how much into, if we get into any like the criminal underworld, how much of that we get into, just other aspects that aren't Jedi. I think that's when Star Wars can get away from that. I think you can tell some really good stories.
I'm really happy about the setting between Empire and Return of the Jedi. Like, that's just a really good place to put it, because the Empire is showing cracks, but the Rebellion's not big enough to really have governed anything. So you're going to have like they say in the trailers and stuff, crime syndicates are rising up because of it to fill those voids. So
I loved Andor, and Andor was not about Jedi. So I'm hoping the same follows suit.
What if this main character becomes a Jedi?
I highly doubt it, to be honest with you.
I know. All right. What they first showed and what's next on this list is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, the next video game for Avatar. As David described it, it's Far Cry with blue people, which I think that's an excellent, straightforward description.
Yep, spot on.
Which Massive actually helped with Far Cry 3.
Okay,
So,
I'm not surprised.
Makes sense.
Ubisoft Studios,
but it is one of the best Far Cries, so that's a
Yes.
very good thing to have in your back pocket.
Yeah. Ubisoft does tend to pile on all their developers onto games. So you'll see Ubisoft. Okay, yeah, like 12 studios worked on this. Okay.
So I looked at Ron and I said, I wonder when we have a Navi come up. Hello, my name's Herc.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's beautiful, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
But after that, I think it's weird that. So okay, I realized. Okay, they can use their natural weapons, the Navi weapons, or they can use guns. So it felt like that Pokemon game with guns. It was like, okay, the Navi can use guns. Okay.
I think they said in the trailer, like, or occasionally a rocket launcher. I'm like, okay.
So they're going to balance that.
I
assume it's not going to be easy to find everything. And I did notice that they didn't have a classic ADS for the machine guns or guns in general.
Yeah.
It's more of a Halo ADS.
Yes. I think that's a good way to describe it. I feel like I can see why they went in this direction because guns. Uh, Perhaps the development studio just had so many gun assets and stuff, so they were like, "Hey, we need to make this easier. Can we incorporate guns somehow?" So this is the story that they came up with in order to justify guns within the game, which I feel like is quite a lot to do that. But hey, I guess it works.
I mean, they use them in Way of the
Kind of.
Water and stuff, so I mean, it's not like it's a foreign concept.
Spoilers, dude. Like, jeez, man.
I haven't seen it yet, so I didn't know that.
They used it they use them in the first movie too. So
Dude,
I hadn't watched
spoilers.
that in forever. I watched it when it first came out, didn't watch it again, so I totally forgot that they used guns in that too.
Oh, by the way, no, if you want to watch Way of the Water, it's on. I know it's on Disney Plus, but I also own it. So
It's on HBO Max too. Like,
oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
it's on
weird.
HBO Max and Disney Plus?
Yeah.
That's man. I guess it's just so big.
Okay.
They were like, "Hey, rights.
Like-
Let's just sell these everywhere."
I mean,
Right.
now it's so off the wall. But I'm pretty sure I saw this on the Max. Let me
In any case, I do
Yeah.
know that this game
Yeah.
is going
I
to
don't
sell
know.
like bukus because
You
of
think
the
so?
name. I think
Yeah.
just the name is going to
I
sell
don't know if you
this
if
game.
if you can see.
Yeah, I
what
can
Yeah, I
see
can
it.
see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
You
this I think this game is going to sell very well to the holiday because you're going to have the casual market who goes in is like, oh, Avatar game, because a lot
Which
of
is
people
why
love
I
watching
think
Avatar.
Yeah, which is why I think they lean so heavy in the inclusion of guns for that market.
Good,
But it just does not look right.
maybe it'll play a lot. Like maybe once you get, I feel like that and Star Wars, especially for you, is like you just want it in hand, like to make some of this stuff connect.
No, Star Wars,
Makes
I could
sense.
already connect it because
Okay.
it's literally the division.
Well,
So
for
that's
for
not a problem.
Avatar, I guess that's more, I guess, what it is on that one.
I would agree with that. But also just seeing them in first person is also feels
It's an
weird.
interesting choice.
Probably, I mean, the world is so beautiful. It's probably just less to render on screen at once, not being
Yeah.
third person. I'll play it though. I mean, how bad is Far Cry with blue people? I mean, I
It's
really
got a
liked
nice,
Far Cry
unique
6.
world, So
Yeah, it was fine.
I'll pick it up on sale. It's a Ubisoft title.
Yeah,
Like,
It'll have co-op as well, by the way. So
give it a month.
yeah,
It'll be on sale. That's when I'll pick it up.
yeah. All right, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This is how Summer Game Fest opened, so we got to see more of that, which I'm glad we got to see more of that. The more I see, the more I realize this isn't a really groundbreaking kind of Metroidvania kind of game. It is a Metroidvania with Prince of Persia slapped on it, which is okay. I like Metroidvanias. Lots of stylish action, which Prince of Persia is known for, and it's got story, which matters for Prince of Persia. And I'm okay with it not being the prince.
Yeah,
it's a different story. It's okay.
So I played this.
Oh, you were the one in the
I wasn't. Ron and I both got to play it.
Oh, okay.
It's fun. It is very challenging. One of the things I noticed right off the bat, like the enemies are not, you are not taking these guys out just one hit. Like you're having to utilize all of your equipment and whatnot, whether it is like your chakram, your arrows, your different dashes. Like I completely forgot about using the teleport feature that they've got in there, where essentially you can place a clone more or less shadow of yourself, go do something, then zip back. Forgot about that. I don't think I used that the whole game. The first boss that we fought, which was I forget,
Manticore.
Manticore, right? Yes. That was a very tough boss fight that I never finished. Ron did. I did not. Because I was still figuring out some different stuff, but it's a lot of fun. And I think especially as new biomes come in and whatnot, that there could be a lot more fun even to have. So it's not a full price game, and there's not a ton of like there are games out there that like this, but not a lot of games that have like Prince of Persia associated with them, obviously. So
It's been 13 years. I'm going to
Yep.
put out a video about this. It's been 13 years. I would say that if this was mediocre, like the way I see Crash Team Rumble, you ain't got to settle for mediocre.
Yep.
Expect better.
I
This
feel
doesn't
like
look mediocre.
I don't think it's mediocre at all. No, I
Yeah.
had a lot of fun playing. Like it was one of those where I wanted to go back and figure out things as I continued. As I would die and go back, have to respawn, I would want to figure out the next thing.
Yeah. And Prince of Persia included a lot of environmental puzzles.
Yep.
Metroidvania is perfect for that. So I feel like this checks all the Prince of Persia boxes in a way that is unique specifically to this game.
Yep.
So
kind of a rebirth, so to speak.
yeah. I do think the character does look a little too modern.
I can agree.
put it
I can
that way.
understand that. Yeah.
I was like, I like the haircut, but you don't look royal, I think is the word I want to use.
You could style that haircut real well, Anthony.
Yeah. Oh, God, no.
It took him like a half second for him to be like, oh, no.
Wait a second. That's what
Well,
he said.
I looked at it and I was like, oh, God, no. All right. We saw more Assassin's Creed Mirage stuff. Little official story trailer. How are we feeling about that?
You going back to old school Assassins, and I like that. I like the fact that it's not a 200-hour RPG.
Yeah.
That I can actually use stealth for once. I like it. To me, going back to what it made Assassin's Creed's a good choice.
Does anybody feel like his run animation feels a little heavier?
I literally said that. I literally said that in my preview.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I said that it's. They said in the session that we were in where we got to actually view this being played. So the way that you see it in the gameplay trailer is not the way that we saw it because they were playing it live. They said that it's fast and fluid, and maybe it feels that way when you're playing it. But I get the feeling that heavy is more due to they're trying to be precise with where you're stepping. And I think that's where that's coming through, so that you're not doing the old Assassin's Creed run up the side of a building and just stop. We all did it. We all did it running away.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that they're trying to get rid of that being such a normal thing. I think it's more that we're seeing a precise. He's there. He's hitting it. So
Interesting. Okay.
and they straight up stole Mark and Execute from Splinter Cell Conviction with that whole Assassins thing.
I didn't even make that connection.
Straight up, man. I did the second I watched it. I pointed that out.
I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, that's the Mirage piece of this.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't even. Oh, good call.
Yep.
I guess there's Assassin's Creed VR. That definitely was CGI. So I mean,
I saw
don't really have anything to go
I
off
saw
of.
some more screenshots, which looked like they were probably real. At least the like that's what they look. They look like screenshots of it. So I feel like anything in VR is one of those you really got to play it, like to see, because a trailer to me, just even if it was the actual gameplay, I feel like you really wouldn't get an idea of how they wanted to go with it. So I do like how they are doing a lot for the accessibility thing. Like it sounds like they're doing things in the settings that'll help people that are afraid of heights. The vignetting, whatever you call it, to help with like the FOV vignetting. Yeah. Different things that are going to help teleport is going to be in there, which I was very happy to hear. That definitely helps with people. I don't get very motion sick, but I know there's a lot of people that if you don't got teleport, they will not be able to play it. So sounds like they're at least looking at every possibility to help everybody play.
Okay. We got Assassin's Creed Codename Jade, which is mobile Assassin's Creed.
In China.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they're doing this
Cool.
with the Division, with Resurgence. I think that actually might be next.
That's
Oh, no,
that's
it's
in
not.
there. It's in there
But
though.
it is later. So I'm cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
It looks
play a proper version of the Division or Assassin's Creed on your phone. I mean, that sounds like a great way to make games.
It's good for
They're
mobile
actually
gamers.
using Unreal for it as well, so that it can be as, like, I guess, look as good as it possibly can on the phone.
Sure. It's a great idea.
And they said this is the first time you'll actually be able to customize the assassin completely. So it's an interesting idea.
So I guess that's where the gotcha part comes in somewhere.
Yep.
Customize your assassin. Let him wear sweatpants.
Only if they're like the sweatpants from the Star Wars Outlaws guy. Those look comfy.
Give your assassin hammer pants. So that way when he flies off,
he has to scream it's hammer time as he comes down and knifes the person.
Hammer time. The Crew Motorfest. Didn't know the Crew was still a thing that was popular enough to justify another expansion, but here we are. The Crew Motorfest is coming. You said it was more like Forza Horizon.
Yes. Yeah, I just posted our preview for this one, which a lot of the games we have talked about from Ubi, we have previews up because we got either hands-on or behind closed-door sessions. And the Crew was one of the ones we got to play, and it's a lot of fun to play. We didn't really get to see any of the open world ideals from it, which the Crew games did have open worlds to them. They were the always online connected. One really cool thing with Motorfest is you can actually import, if you play the Crew 2, you can import your car collection from the Crew 2 into Motorfest.
Oh, so this is not an expansion. This is a whole
No,
new
this
game.
is a full-on game.
Oh, okay.
But they're going on with
Right.
this whole Motorfest Forza Horizon Festival. It's very, very similar, even if they haven't said
Ubisoft
it is.
iterative.
Yeah. That being said, after playing it and being someone who isn't a big car game fan, I had the same kind of fun I had with Forza Horizon with this. Like the racing around the cars was good. Not a lot of games managed to get the whole each different types of vehicles feel different, and Motorfest has that. They actually took us through this like 5 different car playlist where we were actually trying out. It was kind of the way they were introing the game to give you a chance to try everything with their different playlists. And first one was like the Supra, driving that thing around in a made for Japan level, which was just, I love the levels. It was awesome. And they were like the rain covered streets. So you were really feeling the slickness of the road. It jumped from that into a off-road thing, which felt really cool with just kind of the handling, feeling everything. Then it jumped from that into F1, which was they actually have a tire grip meter, so that like the more you let it go, like the worse your grip gets on the track. So you actually have to stop and get a tire change so that it'll re-up your grip. You could really feel the low to the ground. Like through the controls, you could feel how low to the ground the F1 cars were. Like it just, you really got that feeling from the way you're controlling it. Then it went from that to vintage cars, driving around a Shelby Cobra. So like they were going like the old school like vintage cars, and those were really interesting in the fact of they intentionally didn't put the GPS mini map down because that wasn't what you had in those cars. So it's just little nods. Again, they had their own little feel to it, and they said that playlist is not going to be as competitive as the other playlists. Like it's going to be a little bit more casual when you're racing with that one. But then the final one was getting to play as the cover car, which was the Lambo, and yeah, just a sexy car to get to drive around, and that just felt good. And getting to mess around with all the different stuff. They let us play some of the other events. They did, again, we were kind of like restricted from playing around in the open world. I'm assuming there's things they're working on, but it looks like there's a lot to this. They've got a lot of it is the crew. It was a live service game when they did it. They were planning seasonal content and whatnot, but we know from Forza Horizon, if you do it right, people will love it and people will play the heck out of it. So hopefully they can do that with the crew, because it was a lot of fun to play. And again, you do it right, you can find an audience for it, and they've apparently found one if they felt justified in doing a third game.
All right. Look forward to it. There is a Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix.
Yeah, it was a TV show, and my goodness, that was like evoking Ubisoft of old, watching that really awkward director, whoever it is, guy, like announce this thing.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the trailer. I cringed so hard that I just stopped watching. I had to leave the room.
It was bad. It was bad.
It was rough to watch. So, yeah.
All right. Well, what could also be possibly cringe is X Defiant. The open beta is opening.
And the game's coming.
It's coming.
Quickly. Yep.
In the summer. So
I could see August or something like that.
oh yeah. Yeah. I'm a little disappointed.
I've liked what I've played of the game, so we all need to get together and play it so that we can kind of have a good group feel.
Well, I'm actually really excited for this the next beta, the open beta, because when I played the initial one, like the closed way back, it was just very slow, boring, bland.
Slow, interesting.
At least to me, it felt that way.
Sure,
And so I don't know what they've done, and they might have not spit it. I just might be, mentally looking at it differently. But they have done a big improvement, in my opinion, and from what I've seen, from when I first played it to the footage they've shown and the footage that I've seen. So I'm very excited to try and hop back in to see what, my opinions of it have changed, because I'm hoping it's going to be a 180 and I'm going to be eating my words from whenever I first played it. And the fact that it's going to be connection-based matchmaking and not skill-based matchmaking has me very excited because, in casual playlists, Call of Duty has become almost the same amount of sweat in public matches as there is ranked.
Yes.
So yeah, it's if I can just have like an old school Call of Duty feel in terms of matchmaking and playing in general, I'm excited to hop back in and try it again. So I'm very much so looking forward to it.
I have more hope that this game will do better than what I initially anticipate it will. I think you will like it a lot. I'm just disappointed that what it is what it is. I hope they shored up some team issues. I hope they solidified how they want to do objective type of things. It is Call of Duty and Overwatch combined, and I was hoping it would be deeper than that, but it is not. So I'm just disappointed that what I initially played, I felt like wasn't really original, but it feels good. It's fun. I enjoy playing it. I just don't think it's going to hit as big as it could have if it was a little bit more original in its concept. But I've realized after time away from it that X Defiant is not really meant to be a team-based game in the same way Overwatch is, even though people have skills and stuff. You can play that way, but it is more so Call of Duty, and then hey, you got some stuff too to help you wipe teams out. So you could go cloak, you could shield, it's all meant for the player, not necessarily for other people. So once I realized that, I stomached what X Defiant is a little bit better. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I don't like it. I wish there were more teamwork involved, but I get it and I respect it. So I do think it will hit better than I anticipate for that reason, because that's the audience they're hitting, not the type of audience that I would be more impressed with. So I think it'll do okay.
Something that won't do okay.
Yes.
I love that segue.
Skull and
Such a good one.
Skull and Bones, closed beta coming in August. Not a release date, just a closed beta.
And
August 25th. Go ahead.
I was gonna say even worse. It went from closed beta for all platforms to only PC now.
Oh God.
Yep.
Good Lord. All right. Well, it's happening August 25th to the 28th. So there you that. Tom Clancy's Division Resurgence coming this fall. Again, that's mobile version of The Division. Great. I'll check it out. And I guess there was a review. I didn't even know about this. I didn't get to watch all of the trailers for this Ubisoft reveal, but I guess there's a Jet Set Radio and Halo crossover happening.
In something.
Yeah.
I'll admit we were walking out as the sizzle reel happened because we had appointments to get to.
Oh, there you go.
I saw Master Chief is heading to Brawlhalla, and that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm reading this now on IGN, and I guess it was a sizzle reel that revealed a whole bunch of crossovers. So, one of them. So it's not Halo going into Jet Set Radio as the headline kind of. I'll just read it. Okay. A sizzle reel revealed Anno 1800 celebrating 25 years on PC and console for Honor Year 7 Season 2 starting on June 15th. Then there's Trackmania out now on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. A new planet coming to Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Roller Champions and Jet Set Radio crossovers. That's what that is. Master Chief and the Airbetter joining Brawlhalla. There you go. A free trial for Rocksmith Plus on PC and mobile. The Crew 2 Season 8, Episode 2. I didn't know they were taking the Fortnite model with the crew. And then a new Skate add-on coming to Riders Republic on September 26th. And Rayman coming to Sparks of Hope later this year.
Has it really been 7 years since For Honor came out? That is...
I don't... Has it? Let's look it up.
Yeah, like that seems odd.
No, it's probably right.
2017.
Yeah, that's
wow.
That's close.
February 14th, 2017.
Not 7 years, but close. They're in their 7th year. So
yeah, yeah, it doesn't feel like it's been 7 years for For Honor. It feels like it's been 5 at most. Okay, well, so that was the Ubisoft conference. Felt like it was okay.
It was definitely Ubisoft's best that they've had in a long time.
Best ever?
It was their best they've had in a long time. It's been a long time since we had a good Ubisoft for a conference. And this was a good one. They had some good content, stuff that'll be enjoyed.
Yeah, it's definitely
agreed.
fun. It's fun.
Oh, and Just Dance was there. So
I like Just Dance. There you go. Cool. Well, that's pretty much Summer Game Fest. So it's over now.
Yep.
So we can get back to get back to talking about games
and playing video games.
Yeah. Talking about the games that we played. So I thought overall this was a very good Summer Game Fest. I thought it was better than last year. So could it get worse? Sure. But I think with this model, whatever Jeff Keighley is working with, I think there's room for a better one. So, and this was a good one. So I'm looking forward to next year.
Very good. Very good.
Hopefully you have more help.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
All right. That'll do it for us today.
I've got one last piece real quick.
Oh.
That LA Live, the entertainment center in downtown Los Angeles, which includes the Microsoft Theater and Xbox Plaza, as of July 11th, will be Peacock Place because NBC is taking over that area with the naming rights.
So wow. Okay.
Yep. So bye-bye Xbox Plaza. Bye-bye Microsoft Theater.
Microsoft was like, E3, go ahead.
Yep.
you can have it, Peacock. Go for it. All right. Well, who knows what's going to happen with E3 next year. I already have a video script ready to go to talk about Summer Game Fest versus E3. So you can look out for that on Gaming Trend. It'll come out
looking forward
probably in a week or so. All right, that'll do it. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you listening. We'll be back to talk about games next week. Deuces.
Peace.
Later.